going on, WolfPack Nation? Hope everybody's doing well today. Thank you all so much again for tuning in. Please make sure again, if you haven't checked out part 1 yet of our women's basketball preview, make sure to go and check that out. And also to make sure to give this video a like, and please make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, as it really helps support us in the channel. And give us a follow at Tuffy Talk now, and check out all of our great NC State content, like our men's basketball preview, and also our wrestling preview. So with that being said, so on our last episode, we kind of broke down the South Carolina game, talked a little bit about this team and Coach Moore. So now we wanted to kind of talk a little bit about some of the new faces, and also to talk a little bit about our expectations for the rest of the season. So first one, which I want to kind of talk a little bit about for those State fans who don't really know who these people are. So I know, Macon, we talked a lot about this person last time. I know you are high on her, and so I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about her resume. But Diamond Johnson, I think that she is definitely, even watching the South Carolina game last night, she is uber talented. I mean, just her quickness and her ball movement is just ridiculous. I mean, she can shoot lights out, from looking at her Rutgers film. And I mean, again, this is somebody who played last year at Rutgers and averaged, over 17.5 points a game, like over 4 rebounds a game, I think 3 assists a game and 2 steals a game over. And so, I mean, she is an all-around point guard last year. And again, she's a COVID freshman. So which means that, again, she can have 3 years after this if she wants to. I don't really expect that, because I mean, I think that there's going to come a point where she's going to want to go to the WNBA, which I completely get. But what was kind of some of her credentials? I know that she did a lot in high school. Am I correct on that, Macon?
Yeah, she was number 6 recruit in women's basketball overall. She was, and so Allen Iverson, everybody knows AI. He from NBA and playing for the Sixers. He has his own, not a celebrity game, but his own essentially McDonald's All-American kind of game where he gets like his best players he can get. And it's always for guys, always for men, or the best talent he can get. The only female he's ever invited is Diamond Johnson. And he thinks Allen Iverson, point guard, invites a girl point guard, first ever to do so. He's making a statement of what he thinks about that player. And granted, again, people say, well, it's just Allen Iverson. Well, obviously he knows how to play the point guard position. So
pretty good endorsement.
And it's freshman. Exactly. So, when Diamond Johnson was at Rutgers, I believe her stat line was like 50% from field goal percentage, 40% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line as a true freshman and as a point guard.
Wow.
That is crazy. So again, true freshman during all the COVID stuff. She's now playing for NC State. To have a player come in, number 6 overall recruit, I believe was for coming out of high school, average of 50, 40, 90 percentage wise at Rutgers, and now coming to NC State. I mean, I mentioned the last time she had 18 points in 17 minutes in the exhibition game. Now, granted, the other night, last night against South Carolina, she didn't shoot as well. She had, I think, it was like 4 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Poor night for her. You could see, though, the athleticism she has, the ball control she has.
Oh yes,
you could see the crumbles of the athleticism she has. That she was, I feel like if she would just hit those shots, some of that she'd be able to exploit some of those plays even more so, because they're going to respect her, but if she were hitting those shots, she could create, I think, some more. And I'm excited about her, man. She's going to be really good. I think you're going to see a lot of times, you're going to see Diamond Johnson and Raina Perez starting together, playing together. So Raina's too good not to play. And so Diamond Johnson's also too good not to play. I think one thing Keats is going to have to figure out with her and Madison Hayes and Kayla Jones, Camille Hobby, and all these players who you would think might be coming off the bench is, how do I maintain all of this talent and scoring ability and defensive ability how do I keep that from, girls, and obviously they have egos too, just like guys do, like men's basketball. We think about egos in men's college basketball, but they have with the girls. Like, I think I deserve playing time because I'm a top recruit or I'm a top player.
Right.
How is he going to balance that? I mean, that's the hard thing people don't think about with elite, talented teams is, how do I balance this out? Like, they can be the best players in the world, but they have to still play as a team. We need somebody to be the sixth man off the bench.
Yeah,
that has to be the role, and they have to buy in. You said what?
You can only have 5 players on the court.
Right. We need somebody to be the person who comes in and says, I need you to just get me a 3-point shot. I need you to go to guy, or I need you to come in, give me 5 minutes off the bench. And that's what this team needs. Like, to imagine saying that to Madison Hayes, who transferred here from Mississippi State. Now, Madison's going to play a lot. I'm just picking on her, just random player in my head. Imagine Keith saying that you're going to do 5 minutes a game, potentially, but this team needs you to do that. And she's going to have to buy into it. I mean, she's going to have to for the sake of the team to win. That's the ultimate goal. Or Camille Hobby, hey, Camille, I need you to come in for 5 minutes a game. I just need you to relieve Elisa. And so I know I'm getting too far in the weeds there. But I think with a player like Diamond Johnson, it's going to have to be something like he's going to have to manage that with Raina, particularly at the point guard position, because she's too good not to play.
Well, and especially too when especially with you were mentioning with Madison Hayes, is that one of the things for her is, I mean, like, at the South Carolina game she played 8 minutes, and I truly do think that, again, looking at this season, that after this season, players like Alyssa Cunane, Kayla Jones, Raina Perez, at least they're going to go to the WNBA. So after this season, things are going to open up a lot more for Madison Hayes to take more of a prominent role in this team. So again, I truly do think that it could be a thing with Madison Hayes this year, that you kind of say, listen, we have a role for you. You're not going to play like 30, 35 minutes a game unless unless we need you to. Which if we need her to, then that's not good.
You totally could. You just never know. It's just thing. He's gonna have to balance that as a coach,
right? But again, I'm just saying that that Kayla Jones, when she gets back healthy, she's going to get her minutes, and then Jada Boyd, when she comes back, she's going to get her minutes. So again, I just truly don't see, like, for example, like a Genesis Bryant, even like like we didn't see her last night, but she could easily go in and and it could be the same story for Genesis Bryant, like with Madison Hayes. Now, I mean, obviously Madison Hayes, she was I think like number 26 overall recruit coming out of high school, went to Mississippi State, didn't play much there, but I truly do think that that it could be a possibility that Westmore kind of sold her on the idea of, like, listen, I think you could easily come in here, learn from the system, learn the playbook, learn, just to grow as a player. And then starting next season, when we have a lot of players leave, then you're right in there into that 35 minute a game role, and playing with Diamond Johnson, playing with maybe like a Camille Hobby, and jumping right back in there as being a top 5 team in the country. So and playing at one of the most storied buildings and in front of the most storied fan bases in basketball, not just women's basketball, but basketball period. So that could be. So want to kind of talk a little bit about Madison Hayes as well, because obviously for her, she's one of those interesting stories. Obviously at Mississippi State, she didn't have like with Diamond Johnson, where she had 17 points a game and all jazz. She actually only averaged a little bit over 4 points a game. And actually, out of the 19 games that were played, she only started 9. So she wasn't a prolific starter per se, but again, I mean, she was somebody that averaged 4.7 rebounds a game in 20 minutes. So, almost a rebound every 4 minutes. And then she actually hauled in over 5 rebounds in 6 games. And so in 6 out of 9 games, she had at least 5 rebounds. So it's obvious that she is an aggressive player that loves to rebound, loves to defend, but also too that, again, that can play. I mean, she only started 9 games, but yet she was on the 2021 SEC All Freshman team. I mean, you like for a bench player basically to make the All Freshman team, that's got to tell you something. So that's
pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. So yeah, again, it'll be an interesting story for her, but again, I just truly see that, again, I think for this year that it's sold that the idea is that this year we're going to win championships, not championships. And I just don't see how players, wouldn't easily see that, hey, let's ride along and let's bring NC State its first ever national championship. I mean, like for like South Carolina even maybe, but also too like for like UConn, if they went to UConn, I mean, they win them, it happens. But again, I mean, if for NC State, if we can bring one, I mean, it's program changing. It'll be huge. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I can't even like put into words how big that would be.
Yeah.
The Pack is back. Pack is back.
Pack is back. Pack. Yeah,
and like
not
saying,
Mac is back. Pack is back.
Yeah,
that's right.
And
sorry, go ahead,
like
Michael.
you were saying, that was I do think that was probably Westmore's pitch to Madison Hayes, because she could have transferred to a lot of other programs and been a starter and played that 35 minutes a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, he probably said, if we're going to win the championship, that national championship and conference championship, and your spot on the team, that starting role may not be this year, but the year after, you can be a big part of that. I totally believe that.
Yeah. And hey, again, especially with women's basketball, where women's basketball is so top heavy, where typically the teams that win it all are typically the same teams generally. And so it's if she wants to compete at the national level, the league level, compete for conference and national championships, you only have a few schools that you can, really pick, unless, just somebody turns it around like we did. But again, it takes time. So, again, it's a great opportunity. Hey, we're thrilled. Again, we are absolutely thrilled for sure to have somebody like Madison Hayes that can come off the bench,
And we're just picking on Madison Hayes right now. I mean, it could be anybody. We could say Camille Hobby, or we could say,
well, we're just talking
whoever.
about the new faces. That's all, because obviously it's a big question of, where are these players going to fit, because we have like, you look at anybody on our bench and they could easily start at probably at least half the schools in the country.
Yeah.
So it's you're rich with talent, it's a great problem to have. Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout Eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out. So kind of talking a little bit here, I guess, kind of as we're getting towards the later half of this episode. So kind of talking a little bit about the rest of the season. So I think making you kind of mentioned, so your goal for this team, or your bar for this team, is, I'm assuming, a three-peat ACC championship, and then Elite Eight. Is that your bar for this team?
I mean, to me, it's the next step. We've been to Sweet 16. Yeah. So sorry, address your first point. The three-peat ACC championship would be awesome.
Yeah.
That to me is not the difficulty with this team. It's moving beyond the Sweet 16. If you can do that and you get to the Elite Eight, you've taken the team to the next step. You've now saying, okay, imagine that at the end of the season, we can say, well, so far in Westmore, and how many years has it been? Is it year 5 for Westmore?
So he came in 2013. So
Westmore came in 2013.
His first year was 2013.
Ooh.
Whoa!
I thought it was 5 years also.
Nope.
I thought it was 5.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
He came in 2013.
Wow, I don't remember that. I didn't remember that. Okay, so year 8 then.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. 8.
Year 8. Okay, we're going to go with year 8. Maybe it's year 9, but we're going to go with year 8.
Anyway,
so
yeah.
We've got 3 straight ACC championships, and which, by the way, how many teams can say that, men or women's?
That
would be
straight.
pretty insane. I don't know if Duke or Carolina can even say that.
Well, and I mean, obviously,
like men's basketball, maybe they can. I'll have to look that up, because imagine that happening. That'd be big.
Well, especially with programs like, like Notre Dame is a part of ACC, and I mean, obviously Notre Dame women's basketball has a long history.
Mm-hmm.
Louisville is, year after year a top 10 team in the country. Georgia Tech's a team that's every single year gotten better and better, and even like Virginia Tech. I mean, Virginia Tech's been has had a lot of all ACC players and all Americans.
Okay,
so,
Duke did do it one time.
And North Carolina and Duke are always solid in women's basketball too.
Yeah, for the most part. So
Duke men's basketball did it from the last time they did it men's basketball was 2009, 2011. They actually went on a 5-year winning streak, winning the ACC tournament, 99 to 03. It's actually pretty interesting. And then women's, I'll have to go back and look to see what that record looks like. But I would say, to me, looking past the ACC tournament, you got to win the Elite Eight to get to the Final Four. That is, or at least winning the Sweet 16. That's baseline to me. You getting the Sweet 16 and losing to me is like, okay, well, is that the wall we can't get past and get past? Yeah. We can. It's just we need to make it happen. This team in particular is way too talented.
Yep. And again, way too experienced, way too deep. Like, there should be no excuse why at any one time that we can't find, somebody that can shoot the ball. I know, I completely understand there's times where players just not feeling it shooting wise, but there's got to be somebody, that we have someone depth. But
yeah.
Michael, what's your bar for you, Michael?
Yeah, I think obviously ACC championship again. I think Final Four really. I just think it's the same team last year plus the addition of some players that we already talked about, Diamond Johnson, Madison Hayes, great players. I really don't see any reason why Final Four shouldn't be the bar at this point.
Yeah. Well,
you're right. I'm looking at it now. Notre Dame did win in women's. Notre Dame won 4 straight, 2014 to 2017. Yeah. So, wow, you guys are right.
Yeah. So, first of all, when it comes to ACC, so the first thing that comes to my mind is obviously Louisville is year after year the team that you have to get through if you want to win the ACC title. And obviously, over the last couple of years, Louisville's had a ACC Player of the Year in Dana Evans, and she was obviously was a first round draft pick. I think won ACC Player of the Year 2 years in a row. And so she's not at Louisville anymore. So not necessarily saying that Louisville is not going to be good now, but I'm just saying that it seemed like after the last couple of years that pretty much Louisville's gone through Dana Evans, like you were saying earlier, making to not rely on Alyssa. I truly do think almost to a point, not necessarily saying that they did completely rely, but I mean, at the end of the day, when you watch the Louisville game, you watch Dana Evans. Like, that was it. Right. So for them not to have her, it's going to be interesting this year to see how Louisville stacks up. But I still think that we get it done for sure. I think this team is way too talented, too deep, to everything, and we got to get it done. For NCAA wise, easily. If we don't get to the Final Four, I'm definitely going to be disappointed just because, again, that's only been done one other time in NC State. And, again, like you were saying, making that then day we got to take the next step. And since we are definitely going to lose a good amount of pieces next season, it's not like necessarily that – not necessarily saying that, like, we couldn't do it again. I'm just saying that I truly do think that after this, there's going to be a little bit of a pullback just because we're going to have a lot of young people again that we're going to have to get experience, get rolling again. So for me, honestly, if you told me that we made it to the national championship and we lost, I'd be bummed just because, again, I mean, there's just no doubt to me that, I mean, this team is special. That again, Wes Moore is just so good. He is so talented. He is, I mean, I would say definitely one of the top 3 coaches in women's basketball. I could argue that. I'm not necessarily saying he is. I'm just saying that. I mean, I think he is. But Dawn Staley at South Carolina. I mean, she's incredible. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. She's amazing. So, but first of all, too, I do have to say that obviously seeing in person Dawn Staley and Wes Moore beside each other, that was cool. I mean, that's 2 of the biggest
legends
names in women's basketball. Oh, easily that will go into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame whenever they retire. So for me, I would say, you have to get at least to the Final Four. If they make it to the national championship and lose, I'm going to be bummed, not necessarily disappointed. I mean, again, hey, to even get there, that's a huge accomplishment.
So if they made the Final Four and didn't make it to the national championship game, would you call it disappointment? Because to me, it's a matter of, okay, you got the Elite Eight. I would be bummed if they did not get to the Final Four. I would not be disappointed. I'd be bummed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
So
And then if they got, I mean, to me, it's like Final Four is like,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you've basically that's
You've made it.
Thank you.
You've made
Thank you
it.
for doing that.
Yeah,
Yes,
and we
I
said
agree.
it before. Women's basketball is so top heavy that you get to the Final Four, you're probably going up against South Carolina again, UConn, Stanford, Notre Dame, Louisville, one of those teams again. That it's going to be tough, whoever you play.
Well, and because I guess kind of the one argument I'll make of why I want to make it to the national championship is because no NC State women's basketball team has ever made it that far. We've made it to the Final Four, but we have never actually made it to the national championship game. So for us to actually be there, and because I would say, arguably looking at this team, this is the best women's basketball team that NC State has ever had. I could say that, right? I truly think that.
That's fair. Yeah.
Now I just want them to, make no doubt.
On paper, yes.
Like on paper, but I just want to make no doubt. I don't want it to be like, well, but they also made it to the Final Four, or but they also did this. Like I want to be like, nobody's ever made it further. Nobody's ever three-peated. Nobody has had the record that they have. Nobody's beaten who they have, like teams like they have. Like I want to be no doubt. So and again, Westmore said they are their own toughest critics. So I truly do think everything that we're saying, that they're saying that and then some, which is something I love. Again, I love with this team that, and again, because even looking at last night, when we played South Carolina, like there at the end of the game, seeing that, that no quit factor, at the end, even though it was, definitely we were way behind and it was just more likely it wasn't going to happen, to see, us still make plays and still make efforts to win the game. Now, the one thing which I will say as well is there were times where like Westmore wanted them to press and they didn't get the signal or whatever is miscommunication, and they dropped back. Those are kind of some of the points I was making where it just didn't seem like things were clicking. That again, they should have been on the same page about that. So I truly do think that again, it's going to be an exciting year. Let's put it at that. It's going to be an exciting year. I hope, again, barring injuries, again, I'm knocking on wood over here. I have a wood desk right here. I'm going to knock on wood that obviously when we get Jada Boyd back, when we get Kayla Jones fully back, that we don't let it, like that they're with us for the rest of the season. That is my hope. And if you told me that we stay healthy, I think at the end of the season, we're going to be sitting here celebrating the national championship. I truly do believe that. So, but just got to make it happen now. All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you all so much again for tuning again. Really do appreciate y'all and your support for sure. I think we got to, either way, I think we all can easily say we got an exciting women's basketball season coming up here that you do not want to miss out on. So make sure to support these girls. Go to any games you can. Again, it's going to be an exciting ride. So make sure you don't miss it and hang on. It's going to be awesome. So thank you all so much again for tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button again. So again, it really helps support us in the channel. Give this video a like. Check out all of our other great NC State content and follow us at Tuffy Talking Now on Twitter and Instagram. But thank you all so much again for tuning in. As always, go Pack, y'all.